about now? That looks somewhat better. Oh, you can now stream it in 1440p 60, which is nice. Man, it's so nice having symmetrical gig. I can just do this. Actually stream in decent resolutions and frame rates. What if I up the bit rate to 35,000? Gig. Let me hear how the music is. What if I up the bit rate? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So, as I said previously, when I was still figuring out the stream stuff, gonna be working on Quickshell stuff, mainly as a test. Like, I'm not actually kind of focusing on that. I'm more of just testing out stream setup, testing out Zed, which is a code editor. It has some like built-in AI crap that I have turned off because I ain't about that life. And then, yeah, I just want to see like how the bullshit works, like in terms of streaming and getting that down. So just testing out YouTube, essentially. That's what I'm trying to say. What is this fucking... Not testing that one. Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. Good Lord. Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. So right now I'm using tank material shell, which is fine, but I have kind of a idea for things, for like the whole shell system, and I want to mess around with it. So what we can do here, so we need to make a few things. First off, modules. We've got our shell.qml, and honestly, I'm going to be looking a little bit back at other stuff just to kind of get an idea of what I should be doing. Okay. We're going to nano shell.qml. There's nothing in there, apparently. Interesting. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, this is that shell. Damn, I'm stupid. Hermit rewrites. Open the terminal there. And nano shell.qml. Oops. All right. Yeah, it's been like a month or two since I've actually um written QML. So use Q application. I do not like the cursor being that thick, dude. That's crazy. That's wild. Cursor shape. Can it be like less huge? Like, Jesus Christ. Bar. Fuck it. I guess that's fine. All right. Import Qt Quick, and we'll import Quickshell. And that's kind of like for Quickshell, it is quite literally it's very, very simple. It is one of the most simple like markup type languages. It's very similar to like CSS, just like different syntax in certain ways. So like in the way that you style things and the way that it's laid out. But anyway, go ahead and shell root, which is just the root of the shell. What it's doing all the time. The root. And then this is where like all of our stuff is going to go. So we have Qt Quick and Quickshell. We're also going to import our own stuff, which is going to be modules. And one nice thing that is not like super well explained, you can do like, let's say I have a folder in modules called I don't know, another. So modules / another, you would access that by doing this. But let's say you're in you know, that's fine for going like into directories. But if you're already inside a directory, going up is not super straightforward. So if we have a file in here called like another.qml, we can actually call or import a file from up the directory by just doing qs, which is going to be your root shell directory, dot modules. And that will import the modules folder. So like one folder up. You can do that for completely different directories too. So like if you had another folder in the root directory, you could do like another folder in root there. So that's cool. That's not like super well documented, kind of like pretty much all of Quickshell is not super well documented. Okay, so we're going to import the modules folder, and now we need to actually make things. So we're going to make our bar. And what I'm going to do here, so I'm just going to go ahead and kill all Quickshell. Kill all QS. There we go. That way I can kind of go in real time. So we need to call our bar. So we can just go ahead and do that. So literally just bar ID bar. And then, oh, that automatically did that. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, in our bar, I'm just gonna pull up again some reference from older projects that I've done. Just kind of look at things. Yeah, I was struggling with getting it to load from a config file. Okay. But keeping it simple, we're just gonna import qt quick, import quickshell, import quickshell dot Wayland. Okay, cool. So I want this to be kind of modular. I want it to be not so hard coded, and more of just like there are layouts for everything, and I can just kind of quickly make another aspect to something. So I think for the bar, it's okay if it's a bit like purpose built, just because it is the main kind of thing. So panel window. That makes an actual, like, just basically rectangle on the screen that is always there and has like an exclusive zone. So we'll call this root so that when we call it, it knows that this is the actual root part of it. Okay. Not going to worry about config file stuff yet. Not this early in. WLR layer shell dot namespace. This is kind of nice. So you can just set this to whatever. And the reason that you would want to set this, any window manager that you're going to use is going to have specific settings for like namespaces. So for instance, in Hyperland, your blur settings, like your opacity, like that kind of thing, is on a namespace basis. So you can actually blur hermit like separately from everything else, the way you would like Rofi or like wlogout or anything like that. So that just makes it what you set it as instead of Quickshell. That way, if you assume that somebody would have multiple Quickshell things running, or even if you have other Quickshell things running, you can kind of work them differently. So, all right. Color, we're going to set to transparent because we're not making the actual bar, we're making the exclusive space right now. And then the bar will be separate from that. I think was the idea I was going for here. Let me actually look. Visible bar. It's just filling the parent. So I don't know why I was doing that. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why I was doing that differently. Oh, I think just so I could use the bar as an actual rectangle instead of a different thing. I don't know why I was doing that. I think just opacity was a bit easier to work with that way. So, okay. So we also need to make a new folder, and we're going to call this functions, because we will need that. What we'll do now is we'll do anchors, top, true, left, true, and right, true. And then that's about where we're gonna go for that. We need to make a function to find the percentage things. Which we can go to here, new file, and we'll call this find percentage.qml. We're going to pragma singleton, import Quickshell, import qt quick. I don't even know if I need to. No, I do. Okay. I'm going to singleton function find percentage percent size return size times percent divided by 100. All right. So now in here, we could just call that. That way I can just call that from like anywhere. And I just have it as just an easy function. So. Okay. So we need to import functions, which we can use the thing that I was just talking about, which was qs.functions. I think that's giving an error just because this is made for base QML and not Quickshell, which works a little bit differently. So what we can do is set our height. Implicit height is find percentage dot find percentage 1.6 screen dot height. I'm just kind of like punching in the variables that were there before, just to kind of get something on the screen, and then, you know, we'll be fine. I don't know if I have to set the margins. I'm going to test with and without, because if it doesn't need to be there, why have it there? If it just assumes 0, that would be nice, because I don't think I'm going to have the option for a floating bar. So this should go ahead and reserve space, kind of like right off the bat. So let's go ahead and just run this and see if it does. QS. Oh, wait, it's dash. I forget what the. QS help. What's the launch command? P. Yep. QS-P shell QML. Cool. So we have reserved space. Sick. All right. We already have warnings. I don't know what those are. Okay, so we've got reserve space here, and we can change that by changing this. So if we make it 2% of the total screen, it's going to be that. If we set it to 4, I don't think this is correct. I don't think this is like the percentage of the screen that it takes. No, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Okay. So 2 is fine. I think it's a bit... Yeah, we'll leave it at 1.6. Okay. Let's get rid of the margins and see if anything changes. Nothing changed. Is that something that's going to change with the relaunch? No, it does not. So, I don't think we need to keep that there. Let's find out. So now we need to actually make the bar. So I kind of want to think how I want to do this, because I kind of want to make like a material for everything. That way, when I go to make like a rectangle, there's just already a pre-made thing that has the background color, the accent color, like all of that stuff already set up. I don't know though. I guess I could... How do I want to do this? Because I guess I don't really necessarily have to do that. You know, like I can... Because again, this is just the bar. Like everything else is going to be its own thing. But I'm just thinking of what the best way to go about this is. Okay. On parsing, create materials for node types, or decide if that's actually what you want to do. Okay. Okay. For now, let's just make the bar. All right. Again, once I implement like the JSON parsing, everything's going to be through a config file. As of right now, I'm just going to set dedicated values. We'll set that to 0.8. Rectangle. Obviously that's not going to show up anywhere because we have not set anything about it, but if we do the anchors dot fill parents, that should, yep, now we have a bar. The thing about Quickshell is like It's not super well documented. Like, Quickshell's website is nice because it shows you like everything that exists, but it doesn't show you how to use it like at all, which is a bit aggravating. But like once you figure out how it works, incredibly easy, like super simple to make stuff. Also, just Quickshell is satisfying because you just in real time just watch it actually affect your desktop, which I find very interesting. I find that very fun. But yeah. Okay. Color, again, that's going to be, you know what? Let's just go ahead and implement the config file stuff because that's going to be the most annoying part. And I need to be smart about the way that I implement this because if you go like one thing too deep, you can't access those anymore, which is aggravating. And what I mean by that is like if I had another folder inside of modules and I had a QML file in that folder, can't access anything from the loader that's in the shell file. What I'm thinking about doing is just calling the actual loader from the bar, but I don't know. No, we'll just call it from the shell like I did prior. So let's go ahead and I need to modules cd config loader.qml. Okay, this is how it handles config files. So we are going to go to functions and we will create loader.qml. And we're going to import Quickshell and then quickshell.io, which is awesome. Okay. Singleton d root. And this is just going to set a bunch of variables. I really don't know if there's a better way to do this. I should just, you know what? I'm just gonna put a text on the screen. Oh no, damn it. Good Lord, OBS. Okay. That way it's just, it's known that I don't actually know what I'm doing at all. I just have spent a little bit of time looking into Quickshell. Okay. All right. All right. Cool. Let's actually do this. So, config files are actually really easy. There's literally a function in Quickshell to just read a JSON file and convert it to QML stuff. So okay. First off, we can just do the file view. So file view, call this ID. Load file. That way it makes sense. Path. This is where you will set where your config file is. So we can just do quickshell dot environment for the environment variable home, plus we can do .config for the .config folder, slash, in my case, hermit, slash config.json. Watch changes will equal true. That means it will update in real time, which is nice. On file changed, reload. On adapter changed, write adapter, which from what I understand is having to do with like actually saving to the config file. I don't know how that works though. As for the adapter, JSON adapter, ID, config file. And then this is where we will actually read all of the config stuff. So let me make sure that that's not actually something that exists currently. It does. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and delete that. Yeah, that way we can just kind of start from fresh. So this is where we will set our config file variables. Okay. So we're gonna want a few things to start out with. Right now we have the bar height, so we can just do bar height. So what we'll do is property double, so that we can have a percentage point. Do we want that granular of, we could just do an int. Bar height. We're going to set, okay, what else? So far we have opacity, the color. Okay. So let's go ahead and start getting these in here. So what we'll do, we're gonna go property double base window opacity property Let's go ahead. I'm just thinking about how I want this to be laid out, because I think it actually has to be in order in the actual JSON file as well. So let me look here. Property int base window radius opacity property string base window color property string accent color property pool use 12-hour time. And I think I'm wondering if I set the actual values here, if it will write it to the config file. I don't really know. I'm gonna try that. Equals 2. That way we can just see. Hard coded. Then in shell, we can go ahead and do import functions, and we will call loader ID loader. File does not exist. But how do I make it write it? Can it? I genuinely don't know if it can even write. That's something that I never really found out. Quickshell. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think you can actually write it to a file. I wonder. This is kind of like a really jank way of doing this, but I wonder if I can just like run a shell command to just like echo a JSON file. Run. Let's see. Yeah, you can. I guess this would be a case where it would make sense to have like an actual like binary that would handle these things, because this is more just for the actual visual aspect of it. So I think I'm going a little bit further than what Quickshell is really designed to do here. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just make the file myself. So cd hermit, and we're going to config.cfg, what the hell, JSON. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just I actually do want to see how I had that config file laid out. Oops. Can't remember what the syntax is going to be. I think it is literally just this and then like bar height and then like 2. I'm fairly certain that's all JSON is going to be. Let's see. Yeah, no, that's all that's going to be. It's not that, it's this. Okay. All right. Okay. So now I just need to add all of these. And we will be good. We'll have our first little config file. And I guess like, yeah, I would need some sort of application that's running in the background for like this kind of creating the JSON file if it's not already there. like handling the stuff that is not doable in QML. Base window radius. Fuck. We will set that to 0 because we're blocky gang. We're going to do base window opacity. We'll set that to 0.8 for right now. We're gonna do base window color. For right now, just to make sure that it works, we're just gonna set it to red. We're gonna do accent color is going to be blue. And then use 12-hour time. True. Save that. And then now it didn't complain about the file not existing, which is pretty cool. Now we need to make sure that this actually loaded correctly. So what we can do is this is one of those instances where I really don't know the best way to do this, just because I'm not really a programmer. I don't know what I'm doing really, but to actually set these as variables that you need, you have to set them independently of this whole section, because this is just reading these, and then we actually have to set them. So I'm fairly certain the way to do that is going to be the way that I did it prior, which is just going to be setting them again here. Which would be this equals config file dot bar height, and then config file dot base window radius. Config file dot base window opacity. There is most likely a much cleaner way to do this, but I do not know how. I'm assuming there's probably a way to just kind of like have it go through each property in here and just set it to a variable that is the same name. Essentially what I'm doing here, but automated and a lot less lines of code and a lot less manual. But I have no idea. So I mainly just want to get it working and then refactor. Okay. Okay. And then what we will do, we just want to print out the values. So what we can do is on bar height changed, we will console.log Loaded. What? Oh. Hmm. What am I doing wrong here? Doing something wrong. You know what? What was I doing here? Oops. 2. Okay, that's not. Ah, I see. I'm dumb. Okay. Then we will do console.log loaded. Okay. So that got changed. So I assume it's going to do these all in order. So if we go down to the last one, can I get out of that? Yeah, thank you. So we'll go down to the last one and then on use 12-hour time changed. We will console.log. We're going to do bar height equals plus bar height. This is just for debugging purposes. Please don't scream at me for this. I know this is not a great way to do this. Okay, so I think it is reading it correctly. I just want to set this for now. Base window opacity equals I don't know why I'm putting these here. I don't think I need those. No, I don't. Okay. Just did opacity, so now we need base window color. That's why. Okay. So that is all correct. Cool. Just so I can see things changing. Okay, so now the main point of this is we should be able to like set opacity to config or loader dot base window opacity. That did not work because I saw the opacity change. Yeah, so why did that not work? What's the ID here? D is loader. Set that as root. This needs to happen. One more down. Okay, now this should work. So if we go to opacity and set this to loader.base window opacity, that should work. And now if I hermit, I set the base window opacity to 0.1. We should see it change here, and we should see the opacity change. And, well, we saw it change here, but it didn't change on this end. If I redo this, it'll change there. Okay, so it just doesn't display all that again. Right, because it's only on, I only did it on 12-hour time change, so you know, whatever. Okay, so we've got a functioning config file. Fun. Okay, so let's start actually doing stuff that you can see. So, okay. So let's set this back to 0.8. And I'm just gonna go ahead and move this here. Okay. So let's set the color equal to loader.base window color. Red. Awesome. We don't actually want red, so let's go ahead and change that to a hex value. There we go. I have a dark background now. And then, I've been quitting nicotine. It's hell. It's absolute hell. I'm cheating right now. Okay. So we have our base window color. I do want to make, obviously it gets kind of lost here. I want to make some kind of like border line that goes across the bottom of it. Should be able to just like make a rectangle that is 1 pixel tall. So I wonder if we do a rectangle and then maybe border line opacity. We'll just leave that. Color white. And then we are going to set implicit height equals 1. And then implicit width equals parent dot implicit width. Does this have to be? No, I actually have to set it as that. And then as for where it's drawing it on the screen, no idea. So now we can do anchors dot bottom equals parent dot bottom. Fill parent. So even, yeah, so it's drawing that. So we just need to draw it on only the bottom there. Okay. Anchors dot left. Well, you know what? Anchors left is parent dot left. Right is parent dot right. Okay, so put it at the top. So we need to do bottom parent dot bottom. There we go. Sick. And then now we can set the opacity much, much lighter. Opacity. This one we can just have hard coded. Okay, 0.1. What about 0.2? 0.2 looks good. You can, it creates just like a tiny bit of distinction. So you can tell where the actual bar starts and stops if you have a background color that's a similar color to your background, you know. All right. God, that makes the code look so gross, though. Order line at bottom of bar. Okay. All right. So we have our bar. We have the little line at the bottom of the bar. Now we can like put something on the bar. So let's go ahead and we will make a clock. Now I have kind of a layout in mind that I want to use for this shell. So the clock will be in the middle along with the date and a button. And when you click on the button, it will drop down a window here. It's going to be your date and time, your calendar, like media player, like weather, all that kind of stuff is going to be right there. And then over here, there's just going to be a single button. And if you click on it, a whole window slides out here. It's going to have your notifications, your power settings, like audio settings, all of that is going to be there. And then you'll have your workspaces, and then like your system tray over here, and maybe like the name of the window that you have open. Really simple, but just kind of nice to look at, nice to use. That's my plan. So, you know, let's go ahead and start doing that. Okay. So we'll start out with the clock and the button. So what I want to do is I want to make a new folder called materials. And in here, we're going to make button.qml. And this is going to be all of our preset objects. So I guess materials isn't the best way to put it. It would be like objects. So let's actually just go ahead and rename that to objects. Okay. Okay. So we're going to import Quickshell, import Qt Quick. Okay, this is where I'm actually going to need my older stuff, because I was doing a lot of effects related stuff, and you have to import some stuff to do that. So let's go to hermit rewrite. I've attempted to write this like a million times, but I didn't know QML at all when I started this, so I've just kind of started a rewrite every single time I've learned enough to see that my code sucks. So let's see, modules. To config. No. See styles. There we go. So we can nano base button QML qt quick dot effects. Okay, so that's what it was. I am also gonna grab a drink. Okay. The GOAT. Arnold Palmer. I don't know who that motherfucker is, but damn it, he made good tea. Okay. And I don't think I actually need Quickshell for this, because that's most of the like main functions. Okay. So we'll make a rectangle. Root. Going to. Okay. So the point of this is going to be to call this with a width and a height there, and have it just make the button. So I kind of see what I was doing there originally, where just have the property double button height, property double button width. And the reason I'm using doubles and not ints is because I can use the find percentage function to just have a button be a percentage of the size of the screen. So for instance, the clock, that's like the main button there. I don't have it to use the screen. I can just have it be 2% wider than the text that is the time in the clock. That way, you know, if you want to only show the time and not the date, the button will resize to just the time, you know. So, and I don't want it converting it to an int, so that it will actually be the correct size. All right. Also, so if I sound like I know what I'm doing, I don't. I'm talking out of my ass. I have no idea what I'm doing. All right. Okay, and then another thing that I was doing here in the old hermit is creating like a hitbox for the button and then the actual visible button, because applying like rounding and stuff to it and having the button change size when you hover over it makes things a bit wonky when you don't have an actual like hitbox. So I have like an invisible rectangle behind the button that is bigger than the button. It takes up the whole bar instead of the button that only takes up like 80% of it, and it extends beyond the width of it. So what we can do here is set the width to button width plus 20, sure. Height equals bar dot height, which that's going to be, what do I call that as? Bar, yeah, okay. So bar dot height, and then color transparent. And then we will make the visible button. So rectangle anchors horizontal center. It's going to be parent dot horizontal center, and then vertical center is parent dot vertical center, just to center it in the hitbox. And then we can actually make the button. So button viz, let me make sure that I'm using the same naming scheme. So viz bar, we'll do viz butt. Viz button. Okay. And then set the width equals button width. Does that need to be root dot button width? I think it does. It's not in the old hermit, and I assume it was working in the old hermit. I have no idea if it was or not. But we'll be safe and set it to the roots. Radius is going to be loader dot base window radius, and we need to actually come here and import qs dot functions so that we can get. Do we? No, we don't. Never mind, I'm stupid. No, that should be fine. Radius, and then so we'll just leave it white for now. What we will do in the bar, I'm going to go ahead and just call that. So we're going to call button ID test, and we need to import qs.objects. And it is nowhere to be found, which is awesome because we have not set our variables. Button width, we're going to set that to, just to test it, we'll set that to 200. And button height, we're going to set that to 30. Okay, we're going to set that to 20. We're going to set that to 10. Okay. So what we can do here. Okay, so what we can do, we're just gonna do find percentage dot find percentage. We're gonna set this to 90% of bar dot height. That is still taking up the full bar. Set that to 80%. That is a little bit better. Okay. If we set that to 70%, that's nice. I like that. Okay. And then the width, we can do same thing. We'll do, for right now, we don't actually have the time element, so I'm just gonna set it to like 10% of screen dot width. We're gonna set that to 8%. Set that to 6%. That's about what the final size will likely be. So we will also do anchors. Then we will do vertical center. Wait. Vertical center, horizontal, parent horizontal center. Okay, so we've got that in the middle. Okay. Cool. So now, text. We need the time. But before that, we need to set the actual color for the button. So we can go to loader and accent color. So we will do color down here. There is going to be loader dot accent color. Blue. Awesome. Rad. Okay. I don't know why I'm talking like that. All right. Okay. So we'll need something that's just gonna pull the time, and then display it there. So let me actually, I'm actually gonna look at old hermit. Check brightness is something that we will need to implement here. It's just a function that determines if white text would be readable on a color, and if not, it changes the text to black, which is nice. But I would like to get the time. Okay, let's do the check brightness first, because I would like to get that working. Okay, it's a pretty simple one. So we'll do check brightness.qml to singleton, import Quickshell, import qt quick, singleton, function check, do a hex color, do a threshold, or color, cute dot color, hex color. Okay. Okay. Work. I'm pretty sure I just ripped this code from somewhere else, like a forum somewhere. But you know what? It works. Return QML color, HSL lightness to threshold. Okay. So this is going to basically take a color and see if it is higher or lower than the threshold. So let's see what we can do. If we go to, this button, and we're gonna make a text object inside ID test text. Then text is going to be testing 1, 2, 3. Then we can go ahead and anchor it in the center. Okay, so white would probably look better on this. So what we can do is set the color as check brightness dot check, and then the color is going to be loader dot accent color. The threshold is going to be 0.5. And then we'll do question. We're going to set it to black or white. And I think that is the correct. So if I switch these around, okay, cool. So that's doing something now. If I change cd config hermit, and config.json, if I change the accent color to white, it should change the text to black. Or not. If I change it to black, does it change to black? It does. Okay, I had it backwards. Okay. So white and black. Okay. So now if I change the accent color to white, it'll change the text to black. Sick. That is exactly what I wanted. Okay. Now if we set this to blue, okay, red. Okay, what about cyan? What about gray? What about dark gray? I don't know if that's an actual... No, that's not. Accent color, we'll set that to purple. Hey, okay, it is actually doing something. What if I set the threshold lower? What will that change? Is that going in the right direction? It is not. So if I set this to 0.8, and then I set this back to blue. Okay, if I set this to white, it's still going to change it to black. Set this to gray. It's going to keep it at white. If I set this to red, going to keep that at white. Okay, I think that's actually the way I want to keep it. Gold is a bit rough. Okay, we'll keep it at 0.5. It's fine. Okay. Okay. So, cool. So now we need to make the time. Which I can do. Just gonna look at what I was doing prior. You know, time handler. Oops. Okay. Okay. So this just starts an actual timer. Okay. So what I'm actually going to do is we are going to, first off, make time handler. We're going to go to loader, and we're going to add a new property. Pool display date. And you know what? We can just get rid of this. And then true. Yeah, okay. Okay. And then we will property pool display date config file display date. Okay. What's this warning? It's not a valid color name. What is it having issues with? Check brightness, loader.accent color. It's working though, right? That might have been because the config file was messed up. So if I change this to black. Yeah, okay. Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah, it's being fucking dumb, but that's okay. All right. Let's go to, okay, we've got that. So let's do the time handler now. We're going to import Quickshell, import Qt quick. And let's go ahead and do a text ID time display. We'll do makers dot vertical centers parent dot vertical center. Same with horizontal center. All right, and then now we can set up the actual time, which I think is just lifted straight from the Quickshell website. Funny enough. If it works, it works, you know. Okay. Property string current time. Text is going to equal current time. Color. This is where we can set the brightness. So we do need to import qs.functions. And we will do check brightness dot check loader dot accent color. Do 0.5. And then we'll do black and white. Okay, black, white. Okay. We'll deal with fonts and styling and stuff once we have it functional. Same with animations and stuff. We just want to get it working. Okay, then we do the timer. Okay. Okay. Timer. Interval 1000 for a second. Running. True. Repeat. True. We're going to do on triggered. Bar now equals new date. Okay. So here's where we're going to get a little messy. So if loader dot use 12-hour time equals true, then time display dot current time is going to be qt dot format time. Now, okay, so we've got the date as well, which is not great. Okay, and then what we will do do else. Okay, and then we will do if loader dot display date equals true. Then we will set equals at time now. And then we need to set property string current date, and then set this to format date. Now month, day, year. Else time display dot current date equals that. And then once we're done setting those, we will set time display dot final time, which we will also set here. Time equals time display dot current time plus time display dot current date. Actually, we could probably just get rid of that entirely. And then, yeah, I don't know why I didn't do that to begin with. Current time plus current date. And then what we'll do here is we're just gonna do that plus. That way it will auto format for us. Okay. And then all right, cool. So this is what we want. So now we can, instead of having the text here, just call time handler, ID time handler. What? Bar. Oh, I guess I have an extra. What? Time handler available. Cannot assign non-existent property color. Oh, that's all happening in the anchors. What the fuck? Whoops. That would be why. All right. Hey, there we go. So we're showing the time incorrectly and not the date, which is awesome because it's supposed to be showing the date and supposed to be showing the time correctly. That's rad. Okay. Why is that not working? I'm wondering if it's not getting the variable. Easy way to check. Comment that out. We're just going to set this to you know what? Hang on. We can just set this to time equals true. Okay. Time display dot current time equals false, and we will comment that out. Okay, so it is not getting the config file variable here. That's aggravating. It's because it's in a timer in a text. It's one too low. So we need to set them up here. As far as I'm aware, that's the only way to do it. Property pool 12-hour equals loader dot use 12-hour time. Oh, you can't do that. Use 12 and then property bool show date. Oops. All right, and then we can change this to time display dot use 12 and time display dot show date. Still false. Because time handler's being called. So this is already one removed. Got that done. Okay. Now we will save this and we will change this to bar dot use 12 and bar dot show date. And it's still false. Why? What? It's Am I stupid? Bar dot use 12. What? What? Am I just dumb? Like, have I been dumb this whole time? I'm dumb. I'm stupid. I'm stupid, dumb. Wait, so sanity check here. Okay. Other sanity check. Okay, that's what I thought. So it is not getting it through here. I set this to false. Okay. So this does actually need to be these. So now I can set this to false. And that'll go away. No, it won't. It won't go away. This doesn't make sense to me. I don't get this. I don't understand why. Okay. So it's like it gets I'm very confused as to why this is not functioning the way that it should be. Okay. I'm so fucking confused. If bar.use12 equals true, can it just not access it from here? Do I need to... This is what I hate about this, and I don't know how to fix this, but like each time you go further down the chain. So like we're starting off in shell, then we're calling bar. And then in bar, we're creating, or we're calling button. And then in that button, we're calling time handler. And in that time handler, we are in a timer trying to get a variable from the bar. So we're steps removed. We have to just pass the variables down each section that it's going to need it, like a ladder. Like you can't skip one. And I hate that because it's like I have to just recreate the same fucking variables like 10 times and I hate it. And I don't know a way around that. I don't know how to get around that. So if anybody knows, please, for the love of God, tell me. So I'm losing my mind here. Okay. Property pool use 12 is going to be bar.use12. Property pool show date bar.show date, and then we're going to change this to time handler and time handler. Okay. I don't understand. I really don't get it. Like I know for a fact that it's able to see. Does it just need to be not in quotes, maybe? Wrong keybind. I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. Wait. Okay. So now that I know that, sanity check. Oh my god. Oh my god, yes. Thank fucking god. Alright. Loader dot display. What the fuck am I saying? Use 12-hour time. Alright. I'm so stupid. But now I'm so smart. Cool. All right. So now we can just go back to the actual things that this is supposed to be. And there we go. So we've got 12-hour time. Let's set that to 24-hour time. Cool. Set that to 12-hour time, but not showing the date there. Cool. Let's show the date again. Rad. Absolutely fucking rad. Okay, now obviously when it reloads, there's that like, you know, gross like loading period there. What we're gonna do Okay. You know what? That'll fix itself and I'll show you how. So, the width of the button now can be set to, we'll do 105% the width of time handler. What about if we set this to 70%? No. Oh, because I'm not fucking... That's why. There we go. Set this to 105%. Set this to 110%. Okay. So the cool thing about this is obviously the button scales correctly now. But if we don't display the date, we don't have to do any fuck shit. It just automatically resizes itself. Let's get the padding a little bit better on this. It's 120. Set that to 130. Yeah, that's fine. I'm cool with that. Cool. All right. So we now have a top bar with a button that does nothing yet. And we can change out the time and the date. Sick. Okay. So obviously it looks like shit when it's changing, and it's just kind of snapping to the size. We don't want that. So on the button, we can actually set a behavior. So what this is going to mean is we can do behavior on width. I believe it's the syntax for that. We can do a number animation. Actually, we're right here. We can just do that. Okay. We'll do duration. 200 milliseconds just to start out with. And then I forget how that syntax. We'll just do that. It's fine. Duration, and then easing is going to be easing dot out circ. Think this actually has to be in the rectangle because I'm stupid and didn't put it there. There we go. The easing looks dumb. So out cubic, cumbic. Whoa. Out cubic. Let's do in out cubic. Why is it? It's not easing at all. We set this like 800 seconds. That is linear as fuck. So I'm clearly doing this wrong. Let's take a look here. Nano stat button. That was something that had easing on it. Right? Maybe not. No, this did not have easing on it. We need to go back. Okay. C styles. Nano button bar. Dot QL. All right. Easing dot type. That's why. There we go. That is what I wanted to see. I knew I was doing something wrong. Okay, 200's a little too quick. Let's try 400. Okay. Let's try just out cubic. Okay, that looks good. Yeah, all right, cool. So now if we set this to false, that's gonna change and look nice while it does it. Sick. Cool. Now, radius is going to, it's already controlled by base window radius. So let's go ahead and set that to like 2. Nice. Set that to 4. That's awesome. All right. Okay, that looks good. Genuinely looks good. Okay, let's go ahead and just clean up some of this. Okay. We're going to name this time button, and that shouldn't change anything. It shouldn't break anything. Cool. All right. What we are going to do, obviously, when there's nothing showing there, there's nothing showing there. So what we can do is create a text right here. I'm going to anchor it in horizontal and vertical center. And I'm going to do color white. And then we are going to set it as text as hermit. This is in the bar. Oh. There we go. All right. So obviously when the button comes in, we want to get rid of that. Let's set this to hermit stinger. All right. Okay. Okay. What am I thinking? I'm thinking something. My brain's not working right now. Okay. Stream is probably gonna end in like an hour or so. Because I have to pick up my roommate from work. Okay. What am I... Okay, so this needs to go away when the button becomes large. So easiest way to do that is we open time handler again after closing it for no reason. And then on triggered, we are just going to do bar dot hermit stinger dot visible. It was false. No, that's not how that works. Bar dot hermit stinger dot visible false. Nope. No. Okay. So ML change variable script function. I think dot r dot. This is gonna be a fucking hell of a line. Hermit stinger visible equals false. No, that is not a thing. Okay, I see. Oh, wait. That's because I wasn't reading the code that I was looking at. Awesome. Can I do like bar dots? No. I cannot. Yeah, it should just let me. What if we set it here? Var.hermit stinger.visible equals false. No, that did not work. Is undefined. Right, because I can't access it. Oh, fucking hell. How did I do this prior? Because I did this prior. Oh, the hermit badge is just in the button. That makes more sense anyway, actually. I don't know why I didn't think of that. So in the button, time handler is going to be there, but we can also just go ahead and stick that in here. That is now in the button. So I can do bar.time button dot hermit stinger dot visible. No, that is not gonna work. The fuck, man. What the hell, man? Okay. Time button, hermit stinger. This is odd. So I definitely did this before. Yo, what up, Usagi? I am programming right now. I've definitely done this before, but I don't remember how I did it. I can. Okay, so no, I did this. How did I do this? Okay. Did a behavior on opacity. Okay. And then this was the time window, or the time button. So interesting. So I just set the opacity to 0. And then okay. We can do a behavior on opacity, number, animation, duration, 400. And then in time handler, can we just do bar dot? Yes, ditch Microsoft, please. We hate Michael. Embrace the Linux. Okay, bar dot hermit stinger dot opacity 0. Value is undefined. 0. Opacity of undefined. Bar dot hermit stinger. Okay, this is not the way that I want to do this, but it's the way that I'm likely going to have to because it just makes the most sense. So I'm just going to get rid of the stinger and we're going to get rid of this. And we'll get that here. So we just wanted to say hermit in the button before it goes through the first second where it gets the time. So instead of having it just be like this here, we're just going to need to set this and then that, and then if display date equals true, then we're going to do time display dot text equals current time plus that, else time display dot text equals current time plus add. Where is it expecting that? What is it mad about? Oh, wait, no, I can just get rid of this. Okay, so let's make sure everything still works. We're going to set it to 24-hour time. That works. And we're going to get rid of the date. Sick. All right. So now, the reason I did that is so we can just come up here and set the text to hermit shell. There we go. So now it's not a gross looking compromise when you first start it up. All that for the first second that the shell is open. Okay, so we have a button that is something we can replicate easily. We have the time and the date. The button scales to that with adequate padding. And the color of the text changes based off of the accent color. So if we change this to black, the button is black and the text is white. We change this to white, color's white, and the text is black. And if we have a darker color, it'll be white text. If we have a brighter color, it'll be black text. Sick. All right. So, my question, do we want an outline, like a border around the button? We could have that as a toggle, actually. So that if people want border, they can have it. Because all we have to do to implement that, I'm pretty sure, is just border. Dot. Yeah, border dot color is going to equal white. Actually, what we can do is this, so that it always has a contrasting border. And then we do border dot width equals, let's just do 1 for right now. Oh, that doesn't look right. Oh, I put this in the hitbox, not the actual button. We will stick this right here. All right. If we set the accent color to black, it is not setting that accent color or the border. Is this a me problem, or is this something I've written problem? Let's just manually set it to white, see if that works. It does. Okay. Cool. Why isn't that working? Oh, because I haven't imported the module for that. Import qs.functions. There we go. All right. Can I set the border opacity? Opacity. I'm hoping I can. No, that is not a thing. Fuck. Is there a way to... All right. All right. Camel rectangle border opacity. I know when I have to draw a completely separate rectangle behind it that is... Because, like, I don't want... I want the opacity to be different. like it is for the bar. That's aggravating. Oh, you know what? What if I just did a shadow behind it that's a contrasting color, actually? Okay. So what we'll do here, instead of having the border, we'll just create a rectangular shadow. And let's check this out. Okay. Now, let's see. Okay. Put spread to 10. Radius to 20. And then... Am I even doing that? This is not a great... It's not great documentation. We need blur. 30. And then can we do like color? It's white. And it's not working. Do we need the width and height? Oh, God. Okay. We do. Okay. So let's get out of the rectangle and put it down here. That doesn't work. Okay. Needs to be under everything. This sucks. What? How did I do this before? That's very strange that... Okay, that just closed. Cool. Okay. Singular shadow. Oh, okay. Ah, okay, I see. So, makers.fill parent. Okay, that has created an actual, yeah, okay. Offset, we don't need. Radius is parent.radius. Okay. Blur 30. Cool. Spread. Just gonna follow the numbers that are here. Spread is 15. Okay, that's a pretty large shadow. Color white. It's in front of everything. Why? Why is it in front of the rectangle? I want it behind the rectangle. Maybe I need to do it in the actual bar. Let's just do opacity 0.6, 0.2, 0.1, 0.05. That's close to how I want it. I want it even smaller than that. Just a very, very, very subtle glow. Okay. Okay, that's perfect because it's like, it's not even really noticeable. It's more kind of subtle. We'll bump it up by 1. That's fine. We are going to copy this just to get it. You know. Oh, okay. Port qt quick dot effects. Okay. Now it should be behind the button. Okay. Cool. All right. Okay. So now, if I change the accent color to white, we should have a black shadow. I can't tell if we do or not. Oh, that's because I haven't set up. Hang on. We this. All right. So now we should have a black background, or a black shadow. And then if we change this to black, this will turn into a white shadow. Yes. We change this to red. Have a black shadow, I think. Set this to purple. Cool. All right. So let's decide. There we go. All right. Sick. Okay. Let's set the font. Because I want it to look better. I am not a fan of this, so it's driving me insane. Okay. Okay. Right. What's I gonna do? Oh yeah, the font. Okay. So obviously I'm gonna want you know, that to be something that can be changed in the config. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that. We're gonna do base font, and then it is Serif sans serif. So we will save that, and then we will add that into the loader. And all right. Display date, property, string, base font equals config file dot base font. All right, now. Did that already? No, that wouldn't have already changed. I don't know why that would have. I got confused. It looked like the font changed. Okay. So I can go to time handler and text. We will set font.family equals loader dot base font. Did that actually change? I don't know that that did. What do I set this to, like, no, or liberation. What if we set the text to loader.base font? Okay, so that should be correct, but it doesn't look like it is. Because it should be the font that is in the code editor right now. Maybe it's like the font weight. Equals 400. That's closer. That didn't make it bold. I don't think. No. If I actually do this here. I don't think it's actually changing the font here. Oh. I'm just dumb. What the fuck is this song? Okay. So now I can do loader dot base font. Okay. Still didn't make it bold. Oh. Oops. Okay. Maybe it's just because I'm using the weight. Yeah, that's why. So let's set it to 600. Set to 500. Yeah, and then font, letter spacing. Let's set that to like 1.
A little remix compiled by DJ
Yeah, that's better.
and the PFM.
Oh. Ooh, Pechet. I love Pechet. All right, cool.
Good
Cool. All right. So you can now change the font. Let's try like Adwaita. Okay. Nodo. Liberation. I don't know if any of these actually are working, but Alfira code. That's right. Okay. Actually, don't even know what fonts I have installed. Fonts. Let's just try that. I just want to see. Okay. Nodo. Sans. Ooh, I actually kind of like that. Hermit. I mean, I have to try the one that's called Hermit. I don't even think that worked. Let's try Sefka. I also don't think that worked. Oh, okay. I just have to actually use the name. Oh, I actually kind of... Oh, Jesus. No. Okay, well, I think we can stick with what's that one that I like? It was the Nova Sands. That. Use comfort. I don't really love Montserrat actually for this. Actually do like for Um, I just do like something that clearly doesn't exist. What is the font? I'm pretty sure that is Montserrat, right? But you know what? Let's just test. Let me set this to Montserrat. Yeah, that is the correct. Okay. So I guess we'll keep that. Okay. Fuck. Looks good. Okay. Okay. All right. So we've got the font set. Now what we can do, we need to make it so that when you hover over the button, it gets bigger. And when you hover off of the button, it goes back to its normal size. So what we do here, we need a, let's see. All right. How did I do this? Okay. Yes, okay. So we need a mouse area on this rectangle. Actually, we need it on the top one because this is going to be the hitbox. We'll do a mouse area. Anchors.fill parent. And then, so that will make the mouse area this whole bounding box. And then hover enabled equals true, so we can hover over it. Okay. On entered, we're going to do okay. Button width plus equals 20. So now button gets bigger. Let's make that a bigger margin, 30. All right. And then to do is button dot color. Let's see if that works. Hey, it does. Okay. Let's do that by 1. Which does nothing. So we'll do that by like 1.2. Okay. Cool. And then on exited, we're gonna put it back. So button width minus equals 30. And viz button dot color equals loader dot accent color. All right, so now, cool. I have a little interactable button. Now we have to be able to click on it. So that's where the on-clicked comes into play. I will have to end the stream fairly soon. I do have to pick up my roommate from work eventually. Okay, on-clicked. We're gonna go. So we're already in it. So all we need to do is increase the width again by like the same amount, I would assume. So button width plus equals another 30. And then viz button dot color equals qt dot darker loader dot accent color 2. Okay. Let's make that like 50. Ah, that's an issue. Okay. So you know what? Let's change width. Plus equals 30. And then we'll set width equals button width. And then we're gonna set this to, again, width. Okay, so now that bug shouldn't be... Okay, well now nothing works. We need to do root.width. I assume. I mean, I didn't have to... anything else. Yeah, that's not working. Does it just need to be button width plus 30? Button width plus 50? I'm a bit confused. That's changing the fucking width. Okay. Biz button dot width. Oh. Oh, because it's changing because of the time. Hmm. Yeah, because... Wait a second. Button width plus 30. That should stay. Hmm. Wait, I can just... Wait. What about if I do that? No. Does not want to. Damn. It is mad annoying. How did I do it on this? Because it worked prior. Hmm. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. So I would just do find percentage dot find percentage. We were at 130 of that, right? Yeah, 130. So we'll do 140 of time handler dot width. We'll do button hover equals, yeah, we're just gonna set up these variables here. 40 button clicked is going to be 150. All right, I got you. Okay. So now it equals button hover and then on exited it equals button width. It's still going back. Why? It's still entered. Why is it overriding that? Okay. It's just overriding it with the button width. It's 20. Root dot button width. Wait a second. I have an idea. So let's get rid of this. Okay. And we'll get rid of these. And then we're just going to do a property int button modifier. We're going to set root dot button modifier, which we don't have to do anything on. We're going to set this to 30 on exited. Set button modifier equals 0. Then on clicked, we're going to go to button modifier equals 60. Okay, so obviously that's not going to do anything yet. But now we can come down to the width, do button width plus root dot button modifier. That is exactly what I wanted. Cool. All right. So let's tweak this a little bit. Let's make this like 20, not 60. Cool. All right. So we have made the first of our stuff. So we've made a button, and this again is going to interact regardless of this particular button. It will react the same if we just instantiate it and stick it somewhere else. For instance, if we have the time handler, we can just go here and we can put in another button, which let me get out of this button, which I think I'm in. Yes, I was. Okay. And I can make another button. ID stat button, because we'll need that anyway. Button width is going to be find percentage dot find percentage. Do like 6% of screen dot width. Button height is going to be find percentage. $70 of bar dot height. Okay, let's make this 4%, 2%, 1%, 1.2%, 1.1%. There we go. And then anchors. Going to go vertical center, parent dot vertical center, and then right equals parent dot right. Is that right? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. All right, so now we have the same button. It's not reacting the way I want it to there, which means we can set the margins. Right equals, we'll just do 10. That's not, oh yeah, in QML it's like right margin. Right margin equals 10. Let's set that to like 4. 0. How do we make it so that it's not growing from the center? It's like growing out to the left. How did I do that here? Anchor right equals true. I remember. Damn, my keyboard's been dying really fast lately. I don't know why. Okay, so need to see bar components, stat button. Okay, and then there should be no. This is going to be in styles, button bar, we'll anchor right, and then we just make the visible button anchor to the right. Okay, so in button, let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to do a property pool anchor right, and then anchors we're going to do horizontal center is going to be if let's look here. So that's going to be root dot anchor right.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Null. Else. Oops. I think that's gonna work. Yeah, so it's still doing that. And then we're gonna do right. We're gonna set if root dot anchor right true. We're going to set that to parent dot right. Else null. Okay, so now if we set anchor right to true. Hey, there we go. There we go. Hell yeah. All right. I say going so big there. Okay, so we can set the right margin to like 10 now. It's like, yeah, it's like, it just like grows so much when you hover and click. I guess. I don't know why. All right, button. We need to set the modifier scale. Okay, how am I going to do this? So okay, actually this is gonna be really easy. So we'll do modifier scale times. So if I set the modifier scale to 10, it'd be times 2. And then we set 2 times 3. Obviously, that's not going to do anything. But we can set the modifier scale here equal to 10. Okay. This one's not going to do anything. So we set the modifier scale equal to, say, like 2. It's going to move less. Set that to like 4. Okay. And go ahead and set this to like 6 instead. Yeah, that's perfect. All right.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Cool. All right. So now we actually need to do a window for these things. So that's what we'll do next time. I think this is a good place to call it for tonight. Been live for 3.5 hours, you know, whatever. But, you know, we've accomplished a good bit. If we go ahead and you know, the other thing is we haven't even added our workspace widget, anything like that. But if we switch to 2, okay, so you know what? Let's just go ahead and let me open up Zed again. Shit. Okay. I don't know why it does that. Okay. So we're going to go into shell. Next, stream plan. We're going to add workspaces widgets, add wallpaper support, because that should be pretty easy. We're going to add windows for time and stats. Add the base windows. And maybe something else. We'll start right there. That's what we'll do next stream. But, you know, for now, we have made a little bar. And yeah. So cool. For now, I will continue using DMS because it's fine. But thanks for anyone who tuned in. If you're watching this in the future, hopefully that helped a little bit if you're struggling with something. Yeah. So thank you. I will see you guys tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. Just next time I stream, yeah. But yeah. See you later. Oh my god, it's doing the thing.